Hello, good morning. We don't usually come to you live on a Friday, but you saw Cheryl's class on Tuesday instead. So we're going to be doing a live 60-minute yoga strength. And I thought today what we'd really focus on is get quite particular about alignment. So this does mean we're going to be moving slower, not so many sort of movements that come out of force, strength as in forceful strength. This is about building a much more subtle, still strength. Also quite mentally challenging when we're moving slower as well, because it can be tempting to rush, tempting to just get to the pose, get to the destination. We're really slowing it down and feeling out exactly where our body is in space helps us become so much more aware of the way that we use our bodies. And when we're more aware of this, we can avoid injury, we can undo things that we've been doing for years and years and years that cause certain things to happen. So this real cultivating of awareness through alignment is important. So coming to a seated position, let me just make sure you can all hear me. I hope so. My husband watches the other end of this to make sure that there's sound. Okay, coming to a seated position. And just a gentle cross of the legs. We're not going to be using any particular props this morning, but if there is something that you know you like to have by you, please grab it. Be comfortable in your practice. I'm going to turn the palms to face down on the knees or the thighs this morning. Ground evenly through your sit bones. Relax the shoulders. And close the eyes. The palms facing down give us a sense of grounding, of connection. Encourage a turning in and a sense of self-inquiry. What's happening here for you on your mat this morning? How are you feeling? What are you experiencing? And whatever that answer is for you today, know that that is absolutely okay. We don't want to brush over anything. We don't want to put anything under a rug or in a cupboard, saving it away for later. We are being completely truthful with ourselves on our mats. So as difficult as it sometimes can be, doors are open. We expose ourselves fully to ourselves. Simply being here, breathing for a few moments. Inquiring as to what you need from your practice today. What are you seeking? What has brought you to your mat? Start to lengthen your breath out. Sometimes on these cooler mornings, the breath can feel a little stiff. So take your time, bring it in deeper. Let it go more completely. Let the breath go as it cultivates warmth in your body. And the warmth helps it expand. And we're going to start this morning's practice with a 4-part breath. So we're working not just with the inhale and the exhale, but also with the retention. If you prefer not to hold your breath, not to retain your breath, if it makes you feel uncomfortable or a little dizzy, that's absolutely fine, just working on the inhale and the exhale. So we're going to start with a count of 4, emptying out completely. Inhaling for 4, 3, 2, 1, pause the breath. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause the breath. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Retain. How does it make you feel? Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. How does it make you feel? Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause the breath. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. We'll grow the count. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause, only if it's comfortable for you. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Retain. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. One more. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Releasing the retentions now, inhaling. Exhaling. And even though we're not paying them all that much attention, you might notice here with the rhythm of your breath, there is still a slight pause at the top and bottom. There are still 4 parts to each breath. You don't need to exaggerate them for them to be there. And we can feel completely different at the top of the inhale to how we feel at the bottom of the exhale. These constant fluctuations reflect the movement through our lives as well. So at no 2 points are we the same. We can be expanding, we can be contracting. Wherever we are, we need to honor that space. And when you're ready, blink open your eyes, and we're going to start our practice on our all fours. So coming to your hands and knees. Placing your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And then really making sure that you've placed your body not out of habit, but out of purpose. Spread the fingers wide as if you're imprinting your hands down into the mat, as if you've got paint on the palm of your hands and you want the full palm to be printed. Once you've got that full palm down, start to grip more firmly through the fingertips and maybe scrunch your fingers a little bit so the knuckles might lift off the mat. The knuckles at the base of the fingers press down even more firmly. We're going to inhale here. Keep the grip of the hands. As you exhale, just let the chest relax. Sink into the shoulders. Inhale, press away as much as you can. Get as much space between your chest and the mat as you can. Exhale, sink down into the shoulders. Couple more times. Inhale, just exploring the movement we have through our shoulder girdle. Exhale, without needing to move anything else. There's so much going on. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, through that total range of movement, we want to find about halfway where we're still lifting out of the shoulders, but we're keeping the chest open, not over-curling through the upper back. So there's pressure downward through the hands, there's a lift through the chest, a press out of the shoulders. Let's keep that. We're going to inhale. Keep the grip of the fingers. Exhale, rock forward. Inhale, draw back. Exhale, rock forward. Keep a long spine, keep belly button to lower back. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, rock forward, not to your maximum. So we want a little wrist stretch. We want elbows roughly over the wrists. Keep gripping into your fingers. Belly button to lower back. Inhale. Does not need to be a big movement. Exhale, dip the elbows, squeeze them in toward the sides of the body. 2 more times. Inhale. Oh, good morning, arms. Exhale, bend those elbows. Try to keep the elbows over the wrists. 1 more time. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, inhale, come back. Straight arms, bring the big toes together. Exhale, draw your hips back toward your heels. You can separate the knees a little wider if that feels comfortable. Don't take them any wider than your mat. Walk both hands forward and rest into your balasana. If the forehead doesn't quite reach the mat, you might want to bring a pillow or a block in. Just take a moment to allow the shoulders to respond to the movement that just took place, the wrists to respond, the hips to respond. Listen to those responses. Okay, lifting the head, looking forward, coming back up when you're ready. Bringing the knees back underneath the hips, bringing the lower legs back to parallel. And this time we're going to bring the elbows down to the mat, elbows directly underneath the shoulders. Forearms stay parallel. Spread your fingers out, grip into your fingertips, and then maybe pick them knuckles up off the mat. So keep that activity through the hands, even though more weight is in the elbows now. You want to avoid the elbows from creeping out wide, and we do this by creating a skin lock, so bring them in and then roll out on your skin, and you won't be able to slide on your mat anymore. Okay, elbows under shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to relax the chest downward. So sinking into those shoulders a little, and it will feel a little different on your forearms. And then we're going to press out of the elbows, press out of the shoulders, dome the upper back. Again, just exploring the movement that we have through the shoulder girdle, this time with the arms bent. Exhale, sink in. Inhale, press out and away. Exhale, sink in. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Finding that midway point where we feel strength, but we can keep the chest open. We're pressing out of the elbows, pressing out of the shoulders without curling completely through the upper back. Belly button to lower back. We're going to inhale, lean forward, take shoulders toward fingertips. Keep the forearms parallel. And then exhale, press back, hips toward heels. Keep the elbows and the palms grounded so the hips won't go all the way back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, press back. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Okay, inhale, come up until your hips are over your knees. Walk the hands forward. And exhale, sink the chest, sink the forehead down. Puppy pose or Anahatasana. Melting the heart downward toward the mat. Opening the shoulders. Lengthening across the lower back and tilting the sit bones up. So this is a really beautiful back bend. If you have lower back problems and coming into other variations of back bends can feel like it crunches through the lower back, it creates a lot of pressure. This is a nice one to keep pressure out of that area as you allow the heart to open. Okay, lifting the heart, lifting the head. Coming back onto your hands, if you're more comfortable here, if you prefer to work on your hands. If that's quite a lot on the wrists, you can do this down on your elbows, elbows under shoulders. We're going to take our awareness, our attention to our hips now. So I'll do left leg because that's facing you. The left leg back in space by tucking the toes under, drawing the heel back so the leg comes towards straight. Toes are down, heel is up in that left foot. We want to keep that alignment as we lift the heel to hip height. All right, notice as you've lifted the heel to hip height, if your toes have started to turn out, turn them down, and maybe even a little bit exaggerate that movement by rolling the pinky toe down toward the mat some more. Draw the heel back, send the crown of the head forward. Notice if you started to droop through the belly and draw belly button to lower back. We should start feeling those glutes. Hips stay even. For 3, 2, 1, we can stay or we can add on by reaching the right arm forward without allowing the right shoulder to droop down. So we don't want to start twisting through the torso by lifting the left hip, dropping the right shoulder. We want to keep the left hip down, the right shoulder up. Belly button to lower back, long lines. For 3, 2, 1, bring your right hand down if it was lifted. Now we're going to come onto the left fingertips, or if you're on your elbows, come onto the left fingertips as well. So we want to lift through the left side of the body a little bit more. We're going to lift the left hip up and now point the left toes to the left. So we've taken the hips from closed to open. Exploring those two movements, and they feel drastically different. We'll do it again. Close, point the toes down. Open. Couple more times. Close the hips off, square them off. Open them up. Again, close. And open. Okay, we're going to challenge the balance here a little bit. If it's just not happening for you today, you can take your right toes out to the right for a little bit extra support. Otherwise, keep your right toes pointing back. We're going to reach the left hand up off the mat. Push out of the right shoulder. Left hip stacks on top of right as much as possible. Left shoulder stacks on top of right. A side plank variation for 3. Long, strong lines through the body. For 2. For 1, left hand slowly, don't rush it, comes back down to the mat. And then let's close off the hips, square them off. Both palms plant or both elbows plant. Inhale. Exhale, bend the left knee, come back to your tabletop, either hands or elbows down. We'll swap sides. So the right leg goes back behind us. Start with the toes tapped down. Keep the hips even. Heel up, toes down. Leg is long by pressing the heel back. Send the crown of the head forward. If you're starting to sink into the shoulders, remember to press out. Draw belly button to lower back. And then let's lift that right leg up. Heel up, toes down, maybe even the pinky toe side of the foot rolling down toward the mat a little more to really engage the inner thighs, to lift through the pelvic floor. Flex the foot out as if you're standing on a wall behind you. For 3, can we have even weight in the shoulders here? For 2. For 1, now can we keep the shoulders even? Option to lift the left hand and reach it forward. So use the activity of the reach to keep the body light. If we're lazy with the left arm and the right leg here, this will feel really heavy. We want to activate, lift and lighten and lengthen. Shoulders are even, hips are even. For 3. Still breathing. For 2. 1, if the left arm is lifted, bring it down. We'll start to explore through the hips. So coming onto your right fingertips. We're going to open the hips up, point the right toes to the right hip stacks on top of the left, and then internally rotate to close the hips off. Do this a couple more times. Open up, close off, open up. It can feel a little sticky. Close off. Open up, close off, and then we're going to open up and stay open, coming into that Vashisthasana variation. So notice my left hand, my left knee, my left foot are all in one line. You can see it a little better on this side. You might want to stay. If balance is a little challenging this morning, you can send your left leg to the left for more support. Otherwise, pick that right hip up on top of the left, flex the foot, keep the leg light. Maybe start to reach your right arm up toward the ceiling. Right shoulder stacks on top of the left. Lift up away from the mat. Breathe. Allow a little shaky shake to happen. For 3. 2. 1. Right hand slowly, carefully rejoins the mat. And then square off those hips. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the right knee down. Spread the fingers a little wider. Tuck your toes under. Let's lift the hips up and press back to a downward facing dog. As we come into our down dog, maybe the hammies feel a little tight this morning. So we're not going to pedal out the feet just yet. We're going to make our way into a forward fold. So walk the hands back toward the feet. As you walk the hands back toward the feet, the heels will ground at some point. Bend the knees as much as you need to. The legs do not need to be straight. Rest belly on thighs. Take a few breaths here. You can stay with your arms down in front of you if the forward fold makes you feel a little off balance. Otherwise, we're going to reach the hands back behind us, interlace the fingers. We've already worked a bit through the shoulders, so giving them a nice stretch out by drawing the shoulder blades toward each other, hands up toward the ceiling. And then overhead, if that feels accessible, make sure your head, your neck, your jaw aren't holding tension. For 3. 2. 1. Hands make their way back toward the lower back if you took them overhead. Then release the interlace of the fingers, bring the hands back down to the mat. So we're going to keep the heels grounded for as long as we can. We walk the hands a little bit forward. Super short down dog. We walk the hands a little bit further forward. We walk the hands a little bit further forward, and you'll feel the weight start to shift out of the heels. When they need to lift, let them lift. Walk a little bit further forward. Notice how you're using the center of your body, how you're using your hips, your belly. Walk a little bit further forward until you find the length of your down dog. And if your heels are still grounded, you might feel absolutely fine. You might feel like your lower back is doming. So sometimes when we come into our down dog and we're trying really hard to ground the heels to take the legs straight, we start to make this sort of shape, curling through the back body. And cool, heels are down, but the spine is not long here. There's a lot of awkwardness through the neck, awkwardness through the hips. So what we want to do instead is allow the knees to bend, lengthen out the lower back by tilting sit bones to ceiling, and we find that center point, we find that lift, that lightness, and that will help us through so many other shapes. Drawing inner thighs toward each other, belly button to lower back, lifting the pelvic floor like you're stopping the flow of urine. Pressing firmly down into the palms, the fingertips, maybe the middle knuckles lift, finding those gecko hands. All right, notice, and I have a tendency to do this, if you're quite flexible and your ribs just really melt in toward your knees. Super nice and stretchy, but it's not going to give you much activity. So for a strengthening purpose, we want to draw the lower ribs in. Keep the spine long, but draw the lower ribs in so we've got some power to work with the center of the body. Okay, from here, trying not to shift through the hips, take the weight into the right foot, lift the left foot off the mat just a couple of centimeters, and notice what happens to the rest of the body. Can you keep the shoulders equal? We're going to hook the left foot behind the right ankle and just give that right heel a bit of lengthening down toward the mat. It does not need to get all the way there. Okay, after a couple of breaths there, start to send your left leg straight, hips stay even, foot stays flexed. We're slowly, slow motion, going to lift the left leg up, three-legged dog. Heel is still up, toes are still down. It doesn't matter if it doesn't get quite as high as it usually does. Exhale, slow motion. Hover the foot up off the mat. So it's like you're plugging your leg back up into your hip socket. Inhale, send it up. Exhale, bring it down. Little hover, one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the left foot back to the mat. Walk the hands back toward the feet. This time we are going to take our peace fingers, wrap them around the inside of the big toe. So we've got a little more length through the hammies now. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, soften down. You can pull against your toes slightly to lengthen the torso over the legs. If the elbows are bent, they're bent out to either side of the mat. Okay, you might want to give the wrists a little roll. We're making our way back into our downward facing dog. So grounding the heels, taking the hands forward, super short down dog. And then starting to walk the hands further and further forward, keeping the heels as grounded as possible, just as a little experiment. And then notice what happens with the rest of the body by keeping those heels super grounded. And then if you need to adjust by softening the knees, lifting the heels off the mat, tilting the sit bones up, go for it. Finding your down dog, where you feel both the stretch, the lengthening out, but also stability. So if we take one limb off the mat, it's not going to knock us around too much. And we find that by keeping the hips as even as possible, picking the right foot off the mat, hooking the right ankle, the right foot behind the left ankle. Notice if you started to dip into the shoulders or sway the hips, stabilize the shape.
All right, once that left leg has gotten a nice little stretch, we're going to lengthen the right leg back behind us. Even out those hips. Slow motion, as slowly as you can. Inhale, start to send the right leg up. Three-legged dog, toes still point down, heel still point up. Exhale, slow motion, descent. Hover the foot just a couple of centimeters off the mat. Plug the leg up into the hip socket. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Really nice. Bring the right foot back down. Walk the hands back toward the feet. You can take the same variation we took before, or this time walk the hands underneath the feet, palms facing up, fingers face toward heels. Bend the knees as much as you need to, and this is also a really nice little wrist stretch. Allow the head to hang heavy. Allow your toes to massage the palms of your hands, the heels of your hands. Maybe lift and spread the sit bones a little more. Folding forward with the legs even is a beautiful way to really open across the lower back. So the legs do not need to be straight. All right, releasing the hands from the feet, from whatever variation you took, softening the knees, and we'll roll up to standing. Vertebra by vertebra, coming on up. Once you're up, bring shoulders up toward your ears. Big breath in. Exhale, roll your shoulders back and down. And take your hands to your hips. Hands on hips is actually just a really nice way to keep our alignment. We can sometimes, when the pose becomes more challenging, lose awareness of where our hips are in space. So taking hands to them can just remind us where they are. Press the left foot down, lift the right knee up into the chest. Keep the hips even. As you lift the right knee up, there is a tendency to lift the right hip up as well, because this makes the right leg lighter. The left leg takes more of the weight. The right leg can just sort of float around in space. But we don't want that to happen. We want to keep the hips even, keep this leg active, taking the weight that it needs to. All right. So just checking in, notice how you respond. Have you started to draw your shoulders into your ears? How are you using your left foot on the mat? Can you grip into the toes a little bit more? Can you press out of the left foot to lengthen through the crown of the head a little bit more? You can stay here. We've got a couple more breaths, or you can play with extending the right leg long, toes up, heels down, hips even for 3. Oh my goodness, for 2. 1, bend the knee if your leg was straight, inhale. And then we're going to exhale, step the foot halfway up the mat. Now I've stepped with my feet completely in line like I'm balancing on a tightrope. We don't want to do that. We want the hips and the feet to be in line, so you're on train tracks. And then if your back heel is not grounded, you can turn the back heel in slightly. If you're turning your back heel in, your left hip might creep back. Plug it forward, the hips are still even. If you can not turn the heel in, you don't need to. It's all about the length of that calf. Okay, we're going to inhale. Hips stay even. Torso stays long. Exhale, bow forward. Just to parallel with your mat. Belly button to lower back, slowly. Inhale, come back up, even slower than I just did it. Exhale, we'll go back down. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, back down. I think that was 3. We're going to do one more anyway. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, back down. Parallel with the mat, soften through the right knee until the right knee comes over the ankle. If your left heel was turned in, lift it up so the heel and the toes come back into the line. Back into the line, back into line. Press into your right foot, rock the weight forward. And then draw the weight back toward your left heel. 2 more times. Hips stay even. Rock the weight forward. Rock the weight back. Rock the weight forward. Stay here or press into the right foot. Lift the left foot away from the mat. Warrior 3 variation. Hips are even. Left heel is up. Left toes are down. If you're feeling a little extra this morning, arms reach forward or hands might stay on your hips for 3, 2, 1. We're coming up to standing. Left knee comes up into the chest. In line with your left hip. Notice if you're lifting your left hip up to take the weight out of the leg. Bring it down. Keep your hips even. If your hands aren't already there, hands to hips. Find your breath. We can stay here, or we add a little challenge by sending the left leg long, toes up, heel down, inner thigh engaged, hips stay even for 3, 2, 1. Bending the knee if you took the leg long, and then stepping up to the top of the mat. Making sure we're still on those train tracks. If you need to draw the right heel in a little, do so, but make sure the right hip is still pressing forward. If the right heel can find the mat without turning in, great. Just means your calves are a little longer. It doesn't mean an achievement of any sort, okay? So hips even, breath steady, centering in your own body. Inhale. Exhale, bow forward, just to parallel with the mat. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, bow forward, just to parallel with the mat. One more time, inhale up. Exhale, forward. And then bend the left knee until it comes over the left ankle. If you turn your right heel in, lift it off the mat. We're going to inhale, send the weight forward into the left leg. Come right up onto the right tippy toes. Exhale, send the weight back. Keep the chest a little lifted. Inhale forward. Keep the hips even. Exhale back. One more time, inhale forward, stay here, or lift that right leg off the mat. Lift the chest, keep the hips even. Maybe the arms reach forward, they do not need to. A little bend stays in the left knee for 3. Heel up, toe down on the right foot for 2. 1. Pressing up to standing, right knee into chest just for a moment. Inhale. Exhale, right foot comes down next to the left, feet together or feet hip distance apart. Hands come down by the body. Take a deep breath in. A long breath out. Slowly moving. Inhale, circle the arms up. Find length, find space. Exhale, hinge at the hips, dive down over the legs. Inhale, half lift, lengthen. Let's all bring hands to shins. Fan the belly. Exhale, fold. Place your hands either underneath your shoulders or either side of your feet at shoulder distance apart. Grip into the fingertips. Step right foot, then left foot back. Full plank or low plank by bringing the knees down. Inhale here, long lines. Exhale, lower right forearm, then left forearm. Keep the lines long. Inhale. Exhale. The inhale picks the right hand, then the left arm up, full plank. Exhale, press to your downward facing dog. Inhale, slowly the right leg lifts, heel up, toes down, and now we're going to start to play with opening those hips up. So we peel the right hip open on top of the left, sending the right toes out to the right as you breathe in. And then exhale, close off, send the toes back down, even up the hips. 2 more times. Inhale, open up. Exhale, close off. One more, inhale. Exhale. And then we're going to open, inhale, and bend the right knee, exhale. Keep planting through the right hand. Notice if you've got quite light through the right hand. For 3, and press into it. 2. 1, right knee is going to scoop forward toward the nose, look between the hands, step the right foot down. Inhale, we pick ourselves up, crescent lunge. Again, focusing on the hips and how they can be square or in line. So hips square, crescent lunge, back heel is lifted. Inhale, we're going to drop the back heel to the center line, pull the left hip back behind the right to find our warrior 2 legs on the exhale. Inhale, lift the heel up, sweep the left hip forward, crescent lunge. Exhale, scoop the left heel back to the center line, warrior 2. One more time. Inhale, press forward. Exhale, scoop back. Okay, keeping your warrior 2 legs, really ground through the outside edge of the left foot. Hips are even, as in even parallel in line with the mat. We don't want one hip lifted up above the other. If your left hip is still forward a little bit, not directly behind your right, that's fine, but in line with your mat. Right arm forward, left arm back. Squeeze the inner thighs. Inhale, draw the right leg towards straight. Exhale, bend the right knee. Twice more. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. And then we're going to lean forward, circle the right fingertips down. The right knee is over the right ankle. The left arm is going to reach up. Actually, let's take left hand to left hip. The left hand is going to go to the left hip. We're going to inhale. And as you exhale, rock weight forward, come up onto the left tippy toes. You might want to stay here or creep the right hand forward, press into your right foot, lift your left leg. Your left hip is stacked on top of your right. Your left toes are pointing out to the left. We're going to inhale here. As you exhale, square off the hips, point the left toes down. If you want to bring your left fingertips to the mat as well, that's a really nice option. We're going to do it 2 more times. Inhale, open it up toward our Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Exhale, close it off toward a warrior 3 shape. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Keep the hips square, left toes down, left heel up. Let's bring the left fingertips down. Now inhale. Exhale, left knee to nose, squeeze it in. Press into the right foot. Inhale, come up to standing, left knee into chest. Exhale, step the left foot down, hands by the body, Tadasana. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, dive down. Inhale, half lift, lengthen, hands to shins or fingertips to the mat. Exhale, palms plant either underneath the shoulders or either side of the feet. Press into the hands, step left foot, right foot back, full plank, inhale. Exhale, left elbow down, right elbow down, forearm plank. Take a deep breath in. Then use the exhale to come back up. Left hand, right hand, a big breath in. Exhale, press back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg flows up nice and slow. Heel up, toes down. And then exhale, peel open the hip. Inhale here. Exhale, square off the hips. Notice just what happens through your left hand. And you keep it grounded. Inhale, open up. Exhale, square off. Again, inhale. exhale. Okay, inhale, open. Exhale, bend the knee. Stay planted through your left hand. Draw your left knee up to the ceiling. Big breath in. Long breath out. One more inhale. Use the exhale to scoop the left knee forward. Press away from the mat. Step the left foot in between the hands. And we pick ourselves up toward our crescent lunge. Feet are on those train tracks. Hips are even. Right hip forward. Inhale. And then we're going to peel open to warrior two legs by drawing the right heel down to the center line, anchoring through the outside of the right foot. Exhale. Inhale, draw the right hip forward, lift that right heel. Exhale, plant it back down. One more time, inhale. Exhale, plant it back down. Please excuse my back. Right hip is back behind the left. It doesn't need to be directly behind, but it's drawing back. Your hips are parallel with the mat. Arms go out in either direction, reaching for either side of the room. Nice and strong and light with activity. We're going to inhale, squeeze the inner thighs, draw the left leg towards straight. Exhale, bend through the left knee, warrior two. Two more times, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Reaching forward, sending the left fingertips down in front of the left foot as much as possible. Let me just scooch this around so I don't lose you. Right hand goes to right hip. So we're transferring weight out of the right foot toward the left now. We can do this by creeping the left fingertips forward, coming right up onto the right toes, staying here or bringing the weight even further forward, picking that right foot up. Right hip is stacked over the left as much as possible. Right foot is flexed toward the side of the room. Inhale. And then close the hips off. Square them off. Point your toes down. Exhale. The right fingertips can come down. Inhale, open up if you need a little bit extra support, a little bit extra balance. Exhale, close it off. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, close it off. Point the right toes down. You can even look at them. Bring the right fingertips down. So warrior three shape, send the heel back, send the crown of the head forward. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze knee to nose. Press down through the left foot. Inhale, lift all the way up to standing, right knee into chest. Exhale. Right foot comes down. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, circle the hands down. Inhale, half lift, lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands down. You can step or hop back. If you're hopping back, make sure you land in your chaturanga. Otherwise, we step back plank. I'm going to move through a full vinyasa. You can modify by bringing the knees down. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, bend the elbows, lower chaturanga. Inhale, sweep the chest forward and up. Keep the hips lifted toward our upward facing dog. And then exhale, up and back, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts as you inhale, nice and slow. Exhale, bend the knee, peel open the hip. You can stay here or bring the left elbow down toward the mat. Keep pressing into the right palm. Maybe start to look up underneath the right armpit. For 3, 2, 1. If that left elbow is down, lift it up, press out of the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, scoop the right knee forward toward the right wrist. Right ankle toward the left wrist. Left knee comes down, left toes untuck. Left leg is long behind us. Okay, by sitting up, we've found a little bit of a back bend. So if the lower back is happy with this, you can stay upright. More of a stretch through the left hip flexor, tiny bit less of a stretch through the right glute, but most likely you'll still be feeling it. You want to keep the hips even. Left hip forward, right hip back. Lifting through the chest. If the lower back isn't happy, come forward onto the elbows or even lengthen all the way down. Otherwise, we're going to inhale, lift, shoulders stay relaxed. Exhale, lower. Moving only if it feels right for you today. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, coming on up. Exhale, rocking out to your right hip. Sweeping the left leg around and forward. We're going to aim to stack the knees. We don't need to get quite all the way there. We want both sit bones to be down on the mat. So if you want to sit up on something, do so. If you want to soften the legs and just take more of a cross, please do so. Left leg would be crossed in front. Right hand comes to the left knee. Left hand comes behind, a little twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, look back just for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, looking forward. You can stay upright if this is already a lot on the hips, or if you've got a little bit of space. Exhale, lean forward, relax the shoulders, relax the jaw and the neck for 3, 2, 1. Coming back upright. Left leg is on top or in front. We're going to turn to the right, so turn toward the left foot, which is out to your right, and untwist ourselves back into our downward facing dog. Magic. Take a deep breath in. A long breath out, maybe a vinyasa if that is calling to you, not necessary, only if you feel like it. We'll go left leg up on your next inhale when you're ready. Bend the knee, pull open the hip on the exhale. Inhale, send the left knee a little bit higher. You can stay, or it's the right forearm that comes down to the mat. Press out of the left fingertips. Look up underneath the left armpit for 3, 2, 1. If the left elbow is down, the right elbow. Plant the hand, lift it up. My goodness, left knee comes forward toward the left wrist. Left ankle toward the right wrist, right knee down, right toes on tuck. Start to sink in toward your half pigeon. Staying upright if the lower back is happy with that, or leaning forward if not. Notice if you're up on your left hip and the right hip is lifted, they're not in line. We want them to be in line, pressing the right hip forward. The top of the right foot is firmly on the ground. Inhale, if you're moving with me, lift the chest. Exhale, bow forward, light in the hands. Inhale, this is optional. Honoring your body, listening to the sensations that arise. Exhale. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Okay, inhale, coming on up. Exhale, rocking out onto the left hip, sweeping the right leg forward. So this time we're either crossing right leg in front, or we're stacking right knee on top of left. We'll go for the twist first. Left hand to right knee, right hand behind you. Inhale, crown of the head to the ceiling. Exhale, draw your right shoulder back, look back. Take a deep breath in here. Full breath out. Twist, inhale, you can stay sitting upright, or if there's a little bit of space, open across the lower back. Exhale, lean it forward for 3, 2, shoulders relaxed. 1. Inhale, come back up, and we're making our way back to our down dog, our final downward facing dog. We're turning to the left, toward our right foot, which is out to the left, and we're unwrapping the shape and finding our downward dog. In this final down dog, really press into the hands, sink the chest in toward the thighs. Let's make it super stretchy. Head drops heavy toward the mat. Maybe give it a little nod or a little shake. For 3, a little movement through the shoulders, through the hips, whatever you need now. For 2, and 1. Looking forward to your hands, walking your feet forward into our last forward fold of our practice. Totally up to you what you do with the arms. If you're seeking a final shoulder stretch, that interlacing the fingers is really nice. Otherwise, you can hug your legs. You can take the hands behind the head. You can keep them on the mat. Whatever your body is asking for. Whatever arm variation you have taken, releasing. Hands down. Bending the knees. Hips down. Curling the spine. Body down. Shoulders relaxed. Back of the head is heavy. When you're ready, allow the legs to reach long. And find your Shavasana. Releasing from an active Ujjayi breath and simply allowing it to soften. It does not need to be loud to be present. Feeling the effects of your practice ripple through your body. Noticing how we are responding to this final asana, this final shape of our practice. The culmination of all those other movements is this stillness, and how we sit in it, how we respond to it. I'm going to leave you here listening, feeling, receiving from your practice. Thank you for joining me in movement and exploration this morning. Namaste.